How's it going, guys? We are back on Dragon Ball Legends, and I get a lot of comments and requests and things like that all about my opinions on Dragon Ball Legends. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to go to menu, into news, and they have released About Bandai Namco Entertainment Inc. Product survey. So we're going to be jumping into that, and I'm going to give my honest responses to all of them. And I think this is probably a really good way, because I have seen some other things about the questions that they ask, and some of them are a little bit vague, but we can expand and you can get my full opinions on the game and what I would like to improve and all that sort of stuff as well. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe, and let's go through my opinions of the game. So I expect you just press the details. Yeah, there's the survey link. So, and let's see. So the Bandai Namco Entertainment Incorporated Product Survey. Thank you very much for choosing Bandai Namco. We are providing a product survey for players to send us through their thoughts in order to prove the quality of our services. We would very much appreciate it if you could take the time to answer our survey. Please be sure to press the send button. Okay. Recommended browsers for it. Select language. English, I guess. So yeah, let's just jump into it. How would you rate your satisfaction with Dragon Ball Legends? Okay, so starting it off with quite a general question, if I'll be honest, but with Dragon Ball Legends, I think I'm gonna go maybe a 7. I think I'm gonna go with a 7, and the background behind that is, let me know your responses, by the way, down below in the comments, and your reasons why as well. But I'm gonna go with 7 for this, because obviously I do like the game, I like playing all of it. But, I mean, some parts of it, like the co-op, and, I mean, they've improved co-op to be fair, but, like some of the events, like the Battle Gauntlet, do become a little bit stale. They are improving it with being able to skip through it and all that sort of stuff, and once again with co-op, they are improving it and doing all these little bits, but there's no significant improvements that just makes it not that stale. I don't know, when you're just grinding out, like I said, like co-op, or even the raid to some extent, even though it's a bit better because it's quicker, but when you're just grinding, it gets boring very quickly. So I'll have to mix it up. Maybe they can mix it up, like the different events you go up against different people and things, rather than like the hit event that we've had where you just go up against hit or something. I don't know. Obviously with the ultras now looking like they're becoming more, well, having more of them, basically more of the banners becoming more frequent and things like that as well. I'm not sure about the CC count that they're giving out. I do think they need to improve that somewhat, and maybe they can link it in with that events and co-op, but they do need to make some extra tweaks to it. But overall, I think I'm going to go with 7. They are making improvements here and there, and you can see it in the different events and things like that, but I mean, it's still a bit of a toxic game to some extent, isn't it? And it does get you frustrated to some point. So I'm just going to go with 7 for that. With 10 being satisfied, I'm going to go with 7, I think. Okay, so number 2, regarding Dragon Ball Legends, how do you feel about the following points? Okay, entertainment value. I'm going to say more satisfied than not, purely because obviously I make content on it and all that sort of stuff, so that does come into play. And to push me to actually build a YouTube channel to do this, I've obviously got to like the game somewhat. I do like playing it. Yes, there is frustrating moments and all that sort of stuff, like the loading screens and all that, but for entertainment value, I do have fun. And that's the basis reason of why I play it. So I'm going to have to go more satisfied than not. Not completely satisfied, because like I said, there are improvements I think they can add to the game, but more satisfied or not for entertainment value. System, rules, tutorial, clarity. Systems, rules, tutorial, clarity. So rules seem pretty fine. The systems, no. I mean, the loading screens, like, I think you see it in quite a lot of people's videos, actually, when they try to load up the equipment. It just takes forever, like the first time you're doing it in the day. Obviously, we've got long wait queues for PvP sometimes, and just the lag in general is just horrendous. Tutorial clarity, sure. Yeah, it's been a while since I've gone through it, if I be honest, but I guess it's good enough. But it's just the systems wise, would that come into it with the PvP? I guess it would, because the systems are what links it up to the internet and all that sort of stuff. Can't say I'm going to go with for that one. It's very general thinking about it. That's the only thing. I'm going to go with can't say for that one. So feeling of achievement. Do you feel like you can continue playing without getting bored? So I said a bit earlier, some of the events and things like that can be stale because you're going against the same, granted they get more health and all that sort of stuff, but you're going up against the same person over and over and over and over again. Like even with the raids, it's over and over and over again. Co-op, you're against the same person, granted they changed the type-ins. It's just the same person with the same moves and you're just doing the same thing basically to complete through the stages. So I do find it a bit stale sometimes, and I think that's also because the main reason you're grinding, say, co-op is for, especially nowadays, for like multi-Z power or the equipments or something like that. So when you're grinding for that, granted the ultra skip tickets have helped somewhat, but the drop rate isn't great. So I've found myself, especially with these platinum equips, playing for hours on just the same level over and over and over again, not doing anything else because you've got to somewhat concentrate on like co-op, because if you press the Rise and Rush at the wrong time, you know what I mean. I just haven't had a C drop for like hours, even days in some points, so the drop rates are not great, and that's what makes it stale. If you played co-op, let's say they bring a brand new platinum equipment, you play co-op 3 times, and you're maybe not 3 times, I think that's a little bit less, let's say 10 times, or even the 9 times with the mission or something, so you get the 3 clear rewards per day. Do that 3 times and you get guaranteed to get a C rank or something like that of the platinum equipped. That'll really help it out. I wouldn't mind doing it then, because I only have to do it a couple of times rather than just smashing through these events using all this ultra skip tickets just for D's and E's. And you're like, great. Especially for me, I'm like, great. That's why we haven't got quite a lot of the platinum equipped videos, just because they haven't been great. Like with a hit at the moment, I still haven't got a C rank, so I can't really show it off with a like A rank one. I can't imagine you guys be interested in that, but yeah, so ultimately, long-winded there, but I think feeling achievements, do you feel like you can continue without getting bored? Just because it's in the middle, not the fact that I can't say, obviously I can. I'm not satisfied with it, but I'm not dissatisfied. Like I said, I don't mind playing the events a little bit. It's just the amount that I've got to do, it gets a bit stale for me then, so I'm pretty even on that, I think. Balance and difficulty. So, balance and difficulty, eh? So balance depends what you're talking about, really, doesn't it? I mean, the new units come out every single time. For some reason, somehow they find a new way to make it unbalanced, don't they? Like when Tagroids came out, LF 17 and 18, just that's all you saw. Beast Gohan, that's all you saw. Gogeta, somewhat, just because they brought out this hit now, but you pretty much still see a Gogeta every thing. Every time they release a new unit, that's all you see, because they are just unbalanced in comparison to the last one. So balance is a little bit out the window, especially when you're playing PvP and you're going up. It's sometimes, like, I've got quite what I think is somewhat of a stacked account. Quite a lot of 14 stars and things like that, and sometimes it just matches me against like 2-starred units. It's like, that's not very balanced, is it? It's not very fair, so it's a bit unbalanced in that aspect as well. Difficulty wise, I mean, the PvE, sure, yeah, it just seems like the same thing over and over. So they did mix up the actual way that the AI plays to change the difficulty a bit, because people were just like somewhat I'm trying to remember what we were doing. It was ages. You could just like use a card, charge that. You didn't even have to charge that. You just charged and then used another card and just carried on like that. The way that it is now, you can tell what the computer's going to do, but honestly, it really, really annoys me, the fact that they think it's difficulty now that if you so much as by a millisecond leave the charge step, for example, where you play in PvP, it'll be absolutely fine, but PvE, they just dodge it, and then you're like, great, now I gotta start this new combat. It's just a bit annoying, because it's every single time. If you're not really focusing, because let's face it, when you're grinding, you're not focusing that much. You're usually doing something else, like watching a film or something like that. And it just does that, and it's just like, oh, really? No, it's just longer, we're going to change it to a different character, oh, etc, etc. So balance of difficulty. I don't think it's particularly difficult. It's not like the old Budokai games, where when you play in that, it actually increases in difficulty. It is harder. They know when to do things at certain points, etc. Now the difficulty is just they have more health and more defense and all that. So I don't know. Difficulty is fine. You can get through quite a lot of the events quite easily, to be honest. Well, I can at the very least. Granted, once again, I've got a lot of the units and stuff which help out, but balance and difficulty. I may actually go for that, you know. More dissatisfied than not. Not because I'm saying it's too hard or anything like that. Like I said, the difficulty they think of, it's not like you're actually playing against someone. I don't know how they do that. Maybe they can't, but I don't know. You can tell you're against a robot, basically. Like, they put bots in PvP. Why not have something like that? Because the bots play a little bit different sometimes. Like, sometimes you can't tell if someone's a bot or not. Maybe that's just because the person plays that one, but still. And like I said, the balance-wise, I do think the balance isn't great. I mean, even, like I said, with the CC counts, like, I think they need to improve on that. So, more dissatisfied than not. It would help if they specified a little bit more what they're talking about, like with the balances. If they said balance of units, alright, okay. Balance of equipment, balance of the drop rates, for instance. But no, it's just general, so more dissatisfied than not. Time, frequency, and responsiveness for loading downloads. More dissatisfied than not, 100%. Because like I said a bit earlier on with the equipment, sometimes you're loading for ages. I've been waiting for loading for ages for going into certain units, or like what sort of other things can you talk about with that? With like the PvP queue, the co-op queue, all that sort of stuff. The amount of downloads, I don't actually mind. That's fine, whatever. It is what it is. It's just those loading, the time, frequency, and responsive for loading. Loading, not great. Not great if I'm honest. Downloads are absolutely fine, so more dissatisfied than not, really. In-game layout, home screen, battle screen, etc. Yeah, more satisfied than not. They can make improvements, of course, but I know my way around. It seems pretty like colourful, attracts your eyes and all that sort of stuff, but it's also pretty easy to navigate your way around, personally for me, so more satisfied than not. Multiplayer functionality, PvP, guilds, co-op, matching, etc. More dissatisfied than not. PvP, when you have a clean match, fun, great, absolutely fantastic. But lag is just such an issue. The connections are such an issue. Like, people are lag switching and stuff like that. Someone asked me the other day, how do you stop lag switch? You don't really. If someone wants to cheat against you, they're gonna cheat. And all you can do is report, really, which makes you feel like a grass, for starters. And also, when you report, nothing happens. Like, what happens, really? Like, if someone gets loads of reports in a row, maybe they get banned for a bit, but, like, the person, you're not notified, if that makes sense. So you don't know, like, oh, you reported this, and, yeah, we found out there's lag switching or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. So guilds, I think they can do a lot of improvements. Like, I was playing the One Punch Man game before. I dropped off it a little bit, but when I was playing that, they had like a text sort of thing between guilds. Maybe that'd be really handy to sort out like co-op modes and stuff like that. Once again, improves the co-op. Something along those sort of lines. At the moment, it's just get your coins and that's about it, really. Yeah, there's people going for the top guilds, but even in my guild, a lot of people seem somewhat about it, so we'll see. Co-op, like I said, improvements there. Maybe you can fight a different character. That would have been nice. Like, where we can swap character, Why didn't they do that for the co-op enemy? Like, if they swap character, then it refreshes it, doesn't it? You're playing against a different character, they've got a different moveset, you've got to change your skill a little bit. I don't see why they don't do that. It makes sense to me. But hey-ho, rather than just changing the... I mean, granted, it is an upgrade, I guess, from what we did have, but changing the element, sure, just change the character. You've built it in for us, so build it in for the enemy. After a time, it changes. Simple. Matching, not great. So more dissatisfied than not. Communication features with other players. Guilds chat feature, item trading. Is there anything? Guilds there, yeah, sure. More dissatisfied than not. Item trading, like anything along those sort of lines. Once again, I just mentioned about the chat feature. We don't really have that. If you're part of the guild, though, for me, you can jump into the Discord, but, you know. So more dissatisfied than not. If you select dissatisfied or more than satisfied, more satisfied than not for entertainment value, please explain your reasoning for choosing below for entertainment value. I enjoy playing the game. It seems to be updates to improve, which is good. However, there is more improvements to make. I don't have a lot to say about that, if I be honest. It is what it is. So, next. For just the entertainment value, they didn't want to hear about anything else today. Right, regarding Dragon Ball Legends, how do you feel about the following points? So this is one of the... See the reason why I wanted to do this and talk through my opinions this sort of way, because they've got some of the good questions, to be fair. So, how do you feel about the following points? Amount of in-game content, characters, story, location, item types, etc. Well, when was the last time we had a free Ultra? Like, realistically, Ultra Hit is nice and great. Why don't you push that back a little bit and maybe give us like a... Instead of the free-to-play Kefla being basic, let's face it, make her an Ultra. Why not? And then release Hit a little bit later down the line. Would have kept us. We would have been able to save us CC a little bit more after just having Gogeta and the Legends Festival. And we would have had a free Ultra. Would have been awesome. To start off with the Universe Rep tag as well. Great. But they didn't. They gave us some basic Kefla and then made us summon for another Ultra. A bit rough, if I be honest. I didn't like it because it means, especially where I got shafted, basically, for 30k CC, not one Ultra unit. Barely any Legends Limited as well. After a month after Gogeta, like, bear with us. Like, come on. Like, I spend on this game. What about the free-to-play players? They must be ruined. We having the free-to-play characters very infrequently as well. I would have liked to seen that a bit more. I'm more dissatisfied than not about this. Story-wise, we're okay, but where's Super Saiyan Blue Charlotte as well? Like, really? We've had God for ages. Charlotte's just dropped off. He used to be quite viable every time they updated him, but he's just not now. Item types, we've got loads of them. Yeah, there's lots to say about that, but more dissatisfied than not. Reproduction of original work. Graphics, character powers, traits, etc. So they're basically saying whether, like, you know, with like the free-to-play units, I think, where they've reused the animations from some Sparkins and things. Is that what they're basically doing? I guess where what's the biggest one that people noticed? Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Dragon Fist, in comparison to the summon animation. Yeah, it's very similar. Can't say really. I don't really care. If I be honest. Sure. As long as you don't reuse it for summonable characters. Like, I don't want to see these hit animations reused for the next hit, if that makes sense. Like the blue card and stuff. Like, exactly the same. Sometimes, like the Broly, for instance, is very similar to the Broly that they've already released. Which one is it? I can't remember off the top of my head, but you can tell the similarities. You know the examples you're thinking of anyway. So I'm going to say can't say for that one. Production quality, graphics, sound effects, etc. I am more satisfied than not. I think it is a good looking game for what it is. It's only a mobile game, for bearing in mind. So yeah, sound effects, okay, yeah, that's great, absolutely fine, no problem with that. More satisfied than not. In-game summoning recruiting feature. Now, here we go. Here's some of the meaty stuff. This is going to be one long video, so hopefully you are enjoying the summoning recruiting feature. Is that what they're calling it? Right. So, first point, Legends Limited units and their banners. To step up with them, you get free summons, you get the coins, extra multi-Z power per summon, more summon rates. Pretty good, right? The only thing I would really say about that is the amount of coins you need for the first copy is being, what, like generally 50, I think it is. I think they could bring that down a little bit, but they are trying to prevent the whales somewhat, but, you know, bring it down a little bit. It is still quite a lot of CC, but we'll see what they do in the future. But I haven't got any qualms with that. The ones that I have, all-star banners we haven't really had for a long time. We'll see if they carry on using them, but if they do, they're terrible. Absolutely terrible. You get 2 units on there. You usually only ever pulling the 1 unit, and then you go loads of CC deep. You don't get anything. It's not discounted. You don't get any coins. You don't get any chances for summon tickets or anything like that. So we haven't had one for a while. Leave it as that. Just get rid of them. Ultra banners, they need to improve them. Like I just mentioned, I got shafted to 30k CC for Ultra hits, and then I pulled, what, 3 in like 4k CC. Ridiculous. There's a pity system for Legends Limited. Why not put it in for the Ultras? Something to do with the coins, or something to improve those banners, because they are pretty brutal. I think at some point they're going to have to update the rates to some extent. Like maybe the new Legends Limited units will be like, when they come out, there'll be, I don't know, 1% chance maybe. And then the Ultras will be 0.5 and you can still have that double Ultra step, maybe, something like that. They may think that's too generous, but they need to do something. It's absolutely ridiculous. They, by the looks of it, going to be releasing Ultras once a month. I know I can't afford to go 30k CC every single month if they're not going to give out more CC. I just can't. Like, I can't. It's ridiculous. That's a lot, especially for free to play. I was going to say characters, but players. Like, yeah, the whales can, but. So what, you just want a bunch of whales playing this game and that's it? No, you've got to think about everyone. So, I'm going to go more dissatisfied than not, because they've got the setup with the Legends Limited. That's a pretty good setup, so just, take bits out of that or something. I don't know, just more dissatisfied than not. The Ultras really bring it down, unfortunately. We all knew it was coming, and it's here, and it's brutal. Yes, some people get lucky and they get on their first multis and things like that. I bet you a majority of people are getting shafted to some extent, at least on one of the Ultra banners. It's ridiculous. I don't know how Dokkan gets away with it sometimes, but like, this is Dragon Ball Legends. Come on, we're talking about this. You've already got the gotcha sort of system in. You agreed that that was the thing, so you got to do something about Ultras. Right. Login bonuses and rewards for clearing stages. More satisfied than not, especially doing the anniversaries and things with the high coins. Pretty good, if I be honest. I like that. So more satisfied than not. Actually, no. Before I say that, because I've been banging on about it, so I'm going to say, just because it's in the middle, can't say. No, I'm not. I'm going to go more dissatisfied than not. I've gone from one scale to the other. And the reason for that is, once again, the CC. We need to improve it if Ultras are going to be this recurring, basically. And it's as simple as that. Yes, we have lots of different ways to get CC. And realistically, I do manage to save up CC. Like, the amount of CC that I can save up is generally okay. If we were on Legends Limited banners, and that's it. But the fact they got Ultra banners now, being this recurring, nah, I can't save up enough, because it's all well and good having 15k CC, all free to play, but when you go through all of that, nothing, and it's quite easily done, and there's nothing to show for it. You need to improve either the rates or the CC. So, unfortunately, they're going to band together there. Right, regarding Dragon Ball Legends, how do you feel about the following points? FAQ and help feature clarity. Gonna go with can't say here. I use it quite a lot, but there's a lot of issues that people have with Dragon Ball Legends. Thankfully, touch wood, that I haven't, but there's a lot of issues that people have, like where they can't get their accounts back and things like that. So that's why I'm just leaving it at the level. I've not experienced it, can't really say to be fair, but some people do experience that, and I don't know. FAQs and things like that don't really help them, unfortunately. Especially if you're stuck out of the game, you can't get into those. Can you? Oh, I think you can, actually. Can't say. Just can't say. Information posted to official websites. Officials, yeah, more satisfied than not. I like the way that they're doing that. They got all Twitter and stuff like that. We've got a brand new... Actually, at the time of filming this, it's tomorrow, I think, or the day after. New reveals and stuff coming up. Pretty good with them. Level dedication on part of the development team. Can't say. I mean, yeah, like I said, we've got the reveals and stuff, and I can see that sort of stuff. But I don't work for you. I don't run your stats and things, so I don't know. Are they? They say it takes 3 months to make an ultra. Can they do it in one? And they're just being a bit lazy? I don't know. I can't say, basically. Level of dedication, can't say. It's just, to be honest, what we get is just a little bit more than what I'd expect for a game as big as this and things. The reveals and stuff is nice, but the things in the news and stuff like that, it's just expectation stuff, really. And these surveys, that's what you'd want to do. To me, it's just, the things they do just make sense to do in business, to improve your game and all that sort of stuff. I don't see them going above and beyond somewhat. I mean, they give us some characters, but like, yeah, I don't know. Can't say. Let's keep going. Would you recommend Dragon Ball Legends to a friend or acquaintance? 0 being not at all, 10 being yes very much. I'd probably go with 7 on this, because I'm on the high scale. I would recommend it if I knew that friend likes Dragon Ball Legends. Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball and all that sort of stuff. I'd recommend it. But it doesn't really come up in like conversation or anything, really. But like I said, if I knew they liked Dragon Ball, I would. But if I didn't know they liked Dragon Ball or anything like that, I just wouldn't mention it, basically. Actually, I'm going to change it to a 6 on that basis. I just wouldn't mention it. If I don't know they like Dragon Ball or whatever, I wouldn't mention it. It's not like I'm going around the streets handing out leaflets and things like that about it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. I'll go with a 6. Go with a 6, because it does engulf a lot of people. And I'd hate to be the reason somebody goes into dead from one of these games. Regarding Dragon Ball Legends, how do you feel about the following points? I feel the players' opinions are reflected in this game and its services. I say somewhat applies, because they, like I say, they do the social media and the reveals and stuff and all that sort of stuff, and they do take it. You can see that they take on these feedbacks quite a bit, so somewhat applies, but not everything. Like, we'll see what they do about the ultras and stuff like that, so we will see. At this point anyway, I'd say somewhat applies. I feel like it is a central part of my life, or is something that I live for. I saw this question actually before. I'm going to say somewhat applies, because obviously I do these videos and all this sort of stuff, and I wouldn't have done it if I wasn't playing this pretty much all the time. I do play it an awful lot, basically, but it's not like... I am very aware, unfortunately, at some point this game is going to shut down. It's just inevitable. I'm sorry for those of you who don't like to hear that, but it is inevitable. Do I think my life's going to end at that day? No, I do not. I'll just move on. It's fine. I'm surprised Dokkan's still going. I thought at this point I would have had to move on from Dokkan, if I'd be honest, to this. But it is what it is. Like, I really liked Budokai back in the day, Budokai 3 and things like that. I mean, the next games came out, the next consoles came out and things like that. We moved on. I still like the games, may go back and stuff, but it is what it is. I wouldn't say it's a central part of my... Well, I would say it's a central part of my life now because of the YouTube. But before that, before YouTube, I would say not really. I mean, I played it, I log in all day and all this sort of stuff, but yeah. So that's what I'd say on that one, somewhat applies. I want to enjoy this game even more. Applies. Why wouldn't you say anything more? Oh no, I'm completely content with playing the game. I am, yeah, don't improve it at all. Who says that? I want to be inspired by this game. Inspired? I'm going to put applies just to see what comes out of that. Inspired in what way? Like, to improve my life or something? I don't know, learn different languages? I want to enjoy this with my friends and family. Somewhat applies, just because just a little bit of a thing behind me. Not a lot of my friends they like it, but they're not massively into Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. They probably wouldn't play this game. They know I play it and stuff, but it's not for them sort of thing. So somewhat applies, but with the Discord and stuff like that, and all you guys watching and hitting that like and subscribe, obviously I'd like to. So I'm gonna put somewhat applies. I want to talk about this game with other people. Can't say. If it gets raised, or if someone likes Dragon Ball, and like I said, I know that, then I probably will talk about the game. And with one of my mates who I know that plays it, I do talk about it a little bit with him and stuff like that. But if I don't know they like Dragon Ball, I'm not mentioning it. I'm not being like, oh, did you play this Dragon Ball Legends game? I don't really say that about any games with them, really, to be honest. But yeah, so can't say on that one. We're almost finished here. If you have any other points about the game or comments about services you would like us to provide, please list them here. If you have any other points about the game or comments about services you'd like us to provide, that's a very oddly weird worded question. If you have any other points about the game or comments, which I do, but about the services, which I do, you would like us to provide. So they want, what do I want them to give us? Basically, please list them here. Planned information such as changes to poll rates, banners, equipment upgrading, etc. So that gives them a bit of information, really, doesn't it? Anything else they want them to tell us? No, I don't think so, really. Oh, I tell you what. Results of the feedback as well. That'd be interesting. Yeah, we'll just stick it with that, I think. Okay. It's in Japanese now. Is that it? I think it is, because we got 100%. Yeah, I think that's it. So that seems to be it there. There is the survey period there as well. This is quite a long video, but like I said, this is kind of my thoughts over Dragon Ball Legends. Just to finish off as well, like I said, because we do want to get like a holistic view. If I had any sort of ideas or anything like that for them to improve Dragon Ball Legends in the short term, or like to sort of get on pretty much straight away, like I mentioned, co-op wise, and to be honest, I think it's a relatively good idea. Let me know your thoughts down below, and also let me know any suggested improvements or results you had down below as well. But for instance, in co-op, instead of changing the element, why don't you change the character so it really mixes it up? That'll really boost this a little bit. Drop rates you really need to improve when it comes to things such as these, because I have really struggled. I don't know about anybody else. But that's one thing you can do about co-op. Exchange shop. Ultimately, you can condense quite a lot of these shops. I don't know why we have so many. And this isn't even like... This is like half as much. Like during the actual anniversaries and stuff, you get 3 times as much as this. Just condense it, like Z2 and Z medals. Why did we need to have 2? just condense the shops. You can do that quite easily. I'm not going to tell you how to do that because, like I said, it's very easy. Like the adventures and things like that, just have them in one shop where you have different tabs. You already have the tabs. Like, do you know what I mean? So, yeah. Condense this shop as well. I'd also give better rates to equipment as well, because equipment re-rolling, if you don't know what that is, I'm just going to sell these as we do it. If you don't know what that is, it's when you re-upgrade the slot. So for example, if we do this, you upgrade the slot there, and re-rolling is where you re-upgrade here and you use your slot removers to try and get re-rolling. I think the amount of resources that they use, fine, whatever. But they need to have better rates on this as well. I'll be honest, because you can be sat there for ages. I'll be honest, I just go for secure upgrade nowadays. I mean, the secure upgrade's not too bad, really, but the guaranteed one is costs quite a lot. And this equipment can make a huge difference in PvP and stuff like that as well, so you really do want to be getting a good one. I'm just going to upgrade the other one as we're talking. So something along those sort of lines. More ways for us to get equipment slots would be nice. Free ways, I'll be honest, as well. So that's something that you can do about equipment. Just basically give better rates, essentially, or lower the cost for slot removers, because they are very hard to get, I'll be honest. Outside of that, and I've already mentioned about the amount of CC that they give. I mean, during the battle gauntlet, surely you can just double the amount of CC that you give there. Like, instead of 700, I think it is, give like 1,400. Why not? It's a full multi at the least, and a little bit more. It's not too ridiculous, is it? So more CC if you're going to be releasing these ultra units. I did want to go into the summon here to show that as well. They do need to update some of these banners as well, like these ones. We still get these tickets. I mean, sure, the banners are whatever. I mean, I have all these tickets, but it's because I don't use them. Really, I use them for Z medals. That's what I use them for. So upgrade these as well. Story going generally okay, but at some point, like the Charlotte, the fusion, like release that as a free unit, or even Super Saiyan Blue for Charlotte. Is that coming at any point? But overall, outside of that, the changes I see quite often, to be fair, seem quite positive. But there's a couple of things, and like I said, guild, if you just had like a chat function to talk to all guild members just down here somewhere, fantastic. That would have been great. The plug there of our guild as well, and the Discord if you wanted to join that. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Like, trading and all that sort of stuff is what it is, and it's absolutely fine. But yeah, like the aesthetics and stuff is absolutely fine as well. But yeah, that's basically quite a long talk I've been talking for, 40 minutes as well. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. That's my thoughts of Dragon Ball Legends, how they could possibly improve it as well at this point. But make sure to do those surveys, because they do listen to them, which is a positive. Whether they act on them is another question, but hey ho, it is what it is. If you haven't already, guys, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you later. Ciao.